A quarter of the world population will be African by 2050. Imagine that for a couple of seconds. Photos like this won't be reality anymore. I went to see a friend for the Oktoberfest in 2014. I was very nervous and excited to have my first Oktoberfest experience. Funny thing is, before that, I only drank beer once in my life. Honestly, I didn't like it at all. But still, I wanted to enjoy the experience. So I had two choices. Drink one beer and just enjoy the atmosphere, or make a bet with my friend who could drink the most beer. Yeah. Guess what? He won. We sang local songs in our traditional lederhosen. So people got curious and approached us. They asked us in English, "Hey guys, where are you from?" And we answered in German, "Deutschland." And they couldn't believe it. But you know what? Nowadays, it's almost impossible to tell if you were born in Germany, immigrated to Germany, or grew up in Germany. Matter of fact, the most recent figure shows that 22.5% of the German population has a migration background. Have a look 2 seats to your right. Now look 2 seats to your left. One of you might be a German with a migration background. Let's make a quick test. Let's make a quick test. Please raise your hand if you have any kind of migration background. And don't be shy. Wow. Have a look around. Quite impressive, right? The very interesting fact is that this part of the population has two contexts, namely their home country and their country of residence. Let me speak to you about the chance I see within that. Synthesize your context. Synthesis means combining different things, ideas, materials, even context. Today, I want to speak to you about context. I was born and raised in Germany, one context. My immigrants from Ghana, my other context. My parents took the risk and left Ghana for a new start in Germany. Their decision unconsciously gave me the foundation for a promising life in Germany, as opposed to one in Ghana. Maybe you ask yourself now, what does it mean, a promising life in Germany? I'm not saying growing up in Ghana is a bad thing, not at all. Ghana is famous for amazing stuff like gold, cocoa, and of course, and I'm being very serious now, jollof rice, my favorite dish. If you have never heard about jollof rice, please contact me after the talk. It might change your life, trust me. Ghana is also home to amazing people who had influence on the whole world. For example, Esther Nku Lenu, founder of the Women's World Banking and a pioneer in microfinance. Kofi Annan, Nobel Peace Prize winner. Kwame Nkrumah, the first president of Ghana and a Pan-Africanist, just to mention a few. So what do I mean by a promising life in Germany as opposed to one in Ghana? I want to highlight one key area: easy access to higher education. Having easy access to education in Germany is a gift and, I believe, an enabler at the same time. It helped me to discover what I'm able to do in the world and unlock hidden potential. In Ghana, it's quite tricky to study because of the unbelievable costs the students have to face. They have to pay for examination, for tuition, for transportation, for field trips, for sport clothes, for uniforms, and much more. Affording all that with an average GDP per head of almost $1,700 is a big stretch. The difficult access is probably also reflected by the fact that only 16% of the population who would be entitled to higher education is studying. In Germany, that same figure is 66%. The support of the German education system allowed me to complete my studies across Europe. Studying abroad, or how students call it nowadays, I guess, traveling, was actually the most interesting part for me as a typical business administration student. During those exciting stages in my student life, I kept asking myself, imagine if you grew up in Ghana would you have had access to any of these opportunities? And how could you use the lucky circumstances to make it possible that young adults in Ghana have access to such opportunities too? I told you that Germany is my birthplace, and I'm very happy to call it my home. Yet, I somehow feel a deep connection with Ghana. It feels like Ghana is trying to pull one of his lost sons back to his home country. I think that many of you who live in two contexts can relate to this feeling of two hearts simultaneously beating your chest. I spent most of my life in Germany without seeing Ghana once. The desire to see my home country reached a point that I decided to join my father for my first trip to Ghana when I was 20. I remember when I made my first step out of the airport, suddenly it hit me, and I couldn't breathe. I was feeling the hot African air for the very first time. That moment let me know I was in Africa. Yeah, it was crazy. Seeing my parents' birthplace with my own eyes, understanding how they grew up and what challenges they overcame was an incredible feeling and made me very, very proud. After I came back to Germany, you could tell that Ghana left marks on me. And I'm not talking about at least 14 mosquito bites all over my body. What I'm talking about is realizing that just being in Ghana as a visitor wasn't enough. The trip to Ghana awakened my sense of responsibility and opened my eyes for the wonderful chance I have in Germany. It helped me to answer the question I had during my student life. Do you remember? How could I use my lucky circumstances to make it possible that young adults in Ghana have access to such opportunities too? I figured out that I could do one simple thing. I could connect and mobilize the Ghanaian diaspora in Germany and contribute to the ongoing progression of Ghana. And that is what I did. I co-founded an initiative with like-minded Ghanaians who live in Germany, but also want to take an active role in the development of Ghana. We are building a strong and united leadership that manages to transform our mindset, transfer our capabilities to Ghana, and transcribe the progress and the knowledge to the generations to come. We are preparing ourselves to become an interface between Germany and Ghana, our context. It's amazing what you can achieve as a collective from zero with the same drive. For example, recently I have been part of a German delegation trip to Ghana. The German delegation wanted to enter into partnerships and invest in local companies. One co-founder and I organized a meeting between startups based in Ghana and the German delegation. We became an interface and combined Germany and Ghana, our context. Through us, the startups had the opportunity to pitch their businesses for investments. But on the other side, the Germans learned too. Some of the business ideas were so unique that some people of the delegation realized that Ghana, as a developing country, has the potential to help Germany as a developed country. I tell you, to witness that was just amazing and motivated me, us, to keep going. I showed you that people could have more than one context. Immigrants from Ghana raised me in Germany, two contexts. The easy access to education opened doors for me and helped me to synthesize my context. And by that, make a first step towards the transformation of one of my contexts by mobilizing and connecting the diaspora and by becoming an interface between Germany and Ghana, my context. Your context could be completely different. It could be a Japanese in Norway, a Spanish guy in the UK, or something else. Your objectives could be completely different. You could focus on your home country or your country of residence. I want to ask you to share this idea. Help people with more than one context to understand that they're in a special position and have the wonderful chance, maybe even responsibility, to take action in the development of their home country or their country of residence. All we need is to analyze the individual need of one of our contexts and meet it by synthesizing our context. You get to experience the amazing feeling of using your context for greater good. Thank you very much.